Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. Yeah, do please like and subscribe. It's down there. It does help, you know. Yeah, and hey, leave me a comment. Also, I'm thinking of doing one of these live broadcasts. If anybody's interested in the live broadcast, do it at 7 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, probably the first Tuesday in April. I was about that then. Yeah, and basically, if you are interested in a live broadcast, let me know in the comments down below, and we'll do it then at 7 p.m. on the first Tuesday in April. So that's not far off, is it? Then you can ask me any questions you want live, and I'll do it for an hour. How about that then? Is that all right? Anyway, good. Somebody asked me a question yesterday, so here I am. I'm going to answer it. They wanted to know about the promotion and the rank system in the prison service when I was actually a serving officer. Okay, well, basically they had what's known as the basic grade staff, that's the prison officers, which would be the equivalent at the time as like a police constable. Now, don't forget, when I joined in 1974, I applied. I was appointed in January 1975, but in 1974, a prison officer was getting more as a basic rate pay than a police constable. And it said on your warrant card, a prison officer, whilst acting as such, has all the powers of a police constable. I don't know if it says that now, but it certainly can't say that for G4S or Serco or whatever it is that's running certain of our prisons now, for profit, by the way, not to serve the country, not in uniform, not carrying the Queen's warrant, as I did, or the King's warrant these days, yeah, but I was carrying the Queen's warrant, and it started with the basic grade prison officer, and the prison officer's uniform was, you've seen it, standard uniform, but with a blue shirt. The next rank up was the senior officer. That they had one pip that they wore on their shoulders or on the lapels if they were wearing the shirt order. And that was the senior officer. And the way that you became a senior officer was you had to take a written examination, which involved you attending a proper formal examination board, where you were required to answer questions about 3 hours, you know, and it wasn't the senior officer's examination, it was the principal officer's examination. And if you passed that, it was a competition. It wasn't a percentage. You didn't have to get 60%, 50%. It was a competition, so that only 20% of all entrants would pass. You were in a direct competition with all the rest of the entrants. When I entered, I think there was 2,000 people or so took the examination, and out of the 2,000 people, I came 10th. So I couldn't have been doing that bad, considering I didn't study at all. Not at all. Didn't do a day's studying. There were people running clubs, you know, to senior officers and principal officers running teaching clubs to teach people how to do the examination. But I thought, oh, bollocks to it. If I can't answer the questions now, I don't deserve to pass. But I obviously did. And don't think I haven't got the proof. I've got it in my wallet. So I have still got that. Imagine that, yeah. So that was the first grade up, and then you got promoted to senior officer. You had to go for an examination board where you sat down before people and they asked you a load of questions and decided if you were sufficiently a safe pair of hands, because that's how they promoted people. You know, are you going to maintain the status quo for the prison service? Yeah, yes, senior officer. Yeah. The next step up was principal officer. The principal officer wore 2 pips on their jackets or 2 pips on their lapels that they wore, and that was the rank of principal officer. The wage rates weren't that vastly different. probably about £1,500 up in those days. So if you were getting, I think it was a standard 8,000 a year, something like that, then you were told up to about 9,000, 9,500, and it went on an incremental scale up to 9,500. Then as a principal officer, you'd be on 9,500 up to about 11,000. And as a chief officer, which was the next grade up from principal officer, as a chief officer, you had a crown that you wore on your lapels if you were wearing lapels. On that, so yeah, that was a chief officer, and the next rank up, that was about 12,500 to 13,000. We're going back to 1975, 76, and then as a chief officer, grade 1, it was a crown and 1 pip. Yeah, like so. In the police service, it would be the equivalent of police constable, sergeant, inspector, superintendent, and chief superintendent. And as I say, the chief officer grade 1, there was only one in each prison. They had a crown and 1 pip. So that was it. Now, all those that I met who were chief officer grade 1s, they were, as I said, safe pair of hands. They're going to maintain the status quo. They're going to be like the big dog that barks when the governor shouts. Because the governor grades were like the senior officer ranks in the army. You know, like, so the number 1 governor of Strangeways prison would be like the colonel or the lieutenant colonel. That was Norman Brown when I was there. Because Norman Brown was a fine example to us all. He was a war hero. He'd been a captain in the tank corps, was badly burnt. He was a war hero, and in that respect, a very fine man, very brave man. I admired his courage. And he was a real disciplinarian, a real old military disciplinarian, and he ran Strangeways just like he would have run a military team. You know, when he shouted, everybody jumped. And if the prisoners who were less than, they were not treated exactly humanely, that they were on the receiving end of Norman Brown's wrath. Yeah. So somebody asked me yesterday, what about the rank service in the prisons? It's not like that now. I don't believe it. They have wing managers and all this, that and the other, and they've got the whole STES program now, haven't they? Yeah. From the girl with the tray. What would you like? Spice, cocaine, some tobacco, eh? Or a quick shifty round the back? You know? One off the wrist. I don't know, do I? I don't work there anymore. But it just seems to me that there's a number of them being arrested, quite a lot actually, yeah, for allowing themselves to be interfered with by prisoners, which is a disgrace. But then again, they're not carrying the King's warrant, are they? So it's that time of day, folks. Ding dong ding. Hey, don't forget to buy my book, by the way, folks. It's doing very well, actually. And there's another one coming out very soon. I'm not sure when. Last time I heard from the publishers, they said it's imminent, so it could be April, I suppose. As I said, I bought some records, some 78 records, Elvis Presley, and I'm going to sing you one that I've been listening to recently. It's on the other side. It's the B-side of All Shook Up. It's That's When Your Heartaches Begin. I quite like this one. When you... It's not sounding like Elvis, by the way. It's sounding like me. When you find your sweetheart in the arms of a friend, well, that's when your heartaches begin. When dreams of a lifetime must come to an end, well, that's when your heartaches begin. Love is a thing you never can share. If you bring a friend into your love affair, that's the end of your sweetheart. That's the end of your friend. And that's when your heartaches begin. I sincerely hope you enjoyed that. I doubt it very much, but who knows? Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Thank you very much.